Women on the Forefront, a program dedicated to women who are making a difference.
Welcome to our Women Feature. This evening we learn more about the Women in the Church, the Challenge of Synodality webinar, which is to take place tomorrow, Friday the 18th. The World Union of Catholic Women's Organization, otherwise known as WUCU, and the Women's Network of the Latin American Academy of Catholic Leaders, with the support of the Konrad Adenauer Foundation, will hold an international online conference about women in the Church, the challenge of synodality. The online conference will take place tomorrow, Friday the 18th of June at 4 p.m. South African time. Guest speaker at the conference will be Sister Natalie Becker, the Under-Secretary of the Synod of Bishops and first woman with voting rights at a Synod of Bishops in the history of the Church. The conference will also have a panel with 3 commentators from Latin America, Africa, and the Vatican Press Office. And so for more about this event, let's welcome the board member of the Catholic Leaders Academy, Dr. Alejandra Segura.
Thank you so much, Sheila. I am Alejandra Segura, and I was born in Argentina. I live in the United States, and I am a member of the Latin American Academy of Catholic Leaders. And under this role, I am today speaking to you.
Alejandra, thank you so much for joining us on this platform. It's such a great pleasure to have you here with us. On the 18th of June, you are going to be hosting a webinar on Women in the Church, the Challenge of Synodality. Talk to us about this webinar.
Yes, this is actually, we are very, very excited about this webinar. We are co-sponsoring, in a way, the seminar with the UFOM, the Worldwide Association of Catholic Organization, Women Catholic Organization around the world. And the reason we thought of this webinar, there are actually many reasons. First of all, is such an historic moment in the church. And it can be seen as a small step. It's about the appointment of a woman as a subsecretary of the Synod of Bishops, but it has such a great importance for the many, many possibilities and much hope for a greater participation of women in the church. So it's interesting enough that Sister Natalie Becker, who is French, she already has been a part of the synod, but had no vote, only voice. So now, from now on, she's going to be able to vote, and that is not only one aspect. There are, as I said, many others. We want to be instrument of making the world know about this important event, the appointment of Sister as Subsecretary of the Synod of Bishops. There are many, even within the church, who don't know about it. And we want also the lay people to know about that and rejoice with everybody, and also make women, especially women, lay women, think about in what ways this appointment is going to affect them. You know, it's about also not only the church giving more room for women to be heard and incorporated in major decision of the church, but also for us as women to understand that we are called to be part of that. That maybe we have been passive in certain ways, in certain moments, and that is part of our as member of the church to vivify the church with our own participation. And another important aspect that I would like to underline is that has the conference international scope. So there are more than 5,000 people, women and men, who have already registered from so many different countries around the world, so many different conferences. And you from South Africa, you know by your own experience that, and myself as being a native of Argentina, we have this tendency to look at the North, right? Whether it's Europe or whether it's the United States, Canada, to create bridges. And many times we overlook the great opportunities we have to build bridges and connect with other peoples, other countries that are on our right and our left, right? And this is the beauty of this conference, because we are having participation of the Minister of Energy of Senegal, who is a woman in a Muslim country. And in a way, the conference is also an interreligious encounter, right? That foster the interreligious dialogue, which is not only about women and men, it's about cultures, it's about religion. And Sister Becard, you know, she was born in a Catholic France, but she studied in Boston, in the United States, which is mainly Protestant. And she also worked in Lebanon and being in contact, right, with other religions. And I also think in a way, it's also an intergenerational encounter. Sister Becard has participated in many programs with the young people. So it has this multiplicity that makes both the appointment and the encounter so interesting and rich.
Lots of religious women and lay women here in Africa have reacted positively to Sister Becker's appointment. As you've gladly stated, she'll be allowed to vote. But at the same time, there are concerns that for a vote to actually stand, to have strength, it has to be collective. Now, we're talking about one woman that has the right to vote in the Synod, at the Synod of Bishops. What are your comments with regards to that? Shouldn't we be looking at perhaps calling on Pope Francis to continue on this path so that the voice of women can have more strength within the Synod of Bishops?
Well, I have to say that, yes, it looks like a small step, but I think it's huge. We think it's the very first time, it's not only one woman who will have vote, but it's the very first time since the Synod of Bishops was created 50 years ago with St. Paul VI, right, 50 years ago, that the Synod is the very first time. If you think that there were 4 synods with Paul VI, and then 13 with Jean Paul II, and another 4 with Pope Benedict, and so on, and so many. This is the first time that women are being appointed. Now, remember that since the very beginning, our Pope Francis has stressed out the importance of having more participation of women in the level of taking decisions in the church. he recognizes the importance of the role of women in the domestic church, right? In the community. But he is calling us to be part of the decision at the decision level. And of course, that we would like to have everything resolved at once, right? He announced that, and then we will all have to be part of that. But this is a small, big step. He is making real. He is being truthful to what he wants, he announced, and it's giving us a lot of hope. That's why I think of this appointment of a bringing of so much joy, because what he said about the church he dreams of, right, where women and men walk together, he is doing as much as he can to make that a reality. But as I said at the beginning, that is also a call upon us women. Since this is happening, we need to reflect and think in what way I can help what sister will be doing on behalf of me, on behalf of us, right? How I can get our different voices from Latin America, from Africa, from Asia, be heard. She is a channel, she's an instrument. So we need also to think tactically, if you want, right? And make her job more efficient. We should not think for a moment to leave her alone. She cannot do it by herself. As you said, only one woman. But if we work, as I said, with the spirit of solidarity and using our feminine attribute, right? Our feminine genius, as our Pope Francis always calls us. Our ability to create networking, building bridges, this transversality, this capacity of relation transversally. This is a lot that we can do. So don't be just content to be a catechist, right? At your parish church activities. Think of what else I can do and pass that on to the younger generation, of course, as teachers as we are.
Thank you so much for that answer, Alejandra. But earlier on, you mentioned something that reminded me of my next question. You said it's about building bridges and that it's important to also include women from the global south, in this case, Africa, hence you having an African woman as one of the panelists. But now, talking about the synodality, as we've seen, Pope Francis with this wants the church to be involved. And by church, I mean both men and women. How can we ensure that in places like Asia and Africa, where some countries are still very conservative, how can we ensure that women are also part of this journey, that women also participate and add their voices?
I think that we have a big challenge on that level. I would like to talk about one of the big challenges for the church is to deal with violence at different levels, right? And it's not only the physical violence, it's also the emotional violence, the psychological violence that women are subjected throughout the world. And this violence is part of culture, and the church, right, is part of that culture as well. So I think this is one of the main challenges to take to the surface, to talk about what is happening underneath, what is not being talked about, what is not being discussed with freedom, with openness. And this is what I think that Sister Beckard, because of her international exposure, her background, working in different contexts of religion, of culture, of age, is going to be able to bring. And I want to mention that we have also another big challenge, which is, in order to make our own voice heard, that is the need to find our own identity as women. As you know, the culture is proposing many different options. Many are very radicalized. And in a way, they are also exercising violence against our own inner beings, and in ways that we cannot enjoy that happiness we are called to experiment, to feel, the joy of the gospel. So we have also voices outside the church, which is confusing women. And that is creating in many women an antagonism against men. So it's creating this tension between women and men. And we need to understand that we want to call men. We want to walk along men. And this call of synodality is not only between cultures, but it's also in voices of different women around the world, but it's men and women. So the church is expressing, making very clear that we want men and women walk together, not one against the other. There are no different categories. One is better or than the other one, or more intelligent than the other one, that we are created with the same dignity. And entering the church, this participation is going to help find this dialogue, this walking together. Because also, think about it, if we cannot find our own identity with all this opposition, polarization that we are witnessing today, men cannot find their own identity either. So up to what point men have been able to encounter their own identity as men? So in a way, right, it's a two-way. It's walking together, but making relation between each other. There is so much to work, but I think that being we women who God called us to give life, there is a calling there. There is a big hope that we can be instrument of this vivification, if you want, revitalization of the woman in the church. But we need to find that power, if you want, inside us. We need to self-realize that we can do it. Sometimes we don't do it because we don't know that we can do it, right? And I want to say one last thing, Sheila, if you allow me, and it's that it's the Holy Spirit who will lead us in this process. And he will be opening so many doors. And so this is, for me, a sign of the times. And my call is grab it, be part of it, participate in any way you can, because God is sending us a clear sign that is a big hope, a big future for women, right? In the world. Thank you and bless you all.